Welcome back. Pregame.tv, casual Tuesday here.
Yes, it is. We're warming up. It's warming up. It's 80 degrees. When I was driving, my car said 81 degrees. It said 81 degrees.
And here we are in the studio. March Madness coming up, and we are breaking down some select NBA games. We're going to go ahead and talk about the New York Knicks here, and they're in a little bit of a tough spot here. They're at the Nuggets. This will be an interesting one to talk about. We're going to talk about the Knicks in both this video and the next video, and then we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things. We're going to get to talk about some college basketball conference tourneys and the UFC. Wanted to congratulate you. We came on in. Brian Leonard and I were hot. You continued along. We're 27-10. Let's keep it going.
Kept the roll going. Kept the roll going.
Yeah, everyone listening.
I was worried. I knew to come prepared. Last week and this week, I said, you got a record to protect.
Everyone who's listening says we don't care about that. We need winners this week, Steve. So
correct.
So VR, let me ask you about these Knicks. They go into Golden State, into Oakland, and I guess they missed their flight. They brought in somebody else. They lose by 30. What kind of impact's that going to have on their psyche?
Baylor football teams put up more points than they did in that game. I mean, 63 points. I really think they're in a good spot because of that. When you look at Denver, this is as good of a home team as you're going to get. 28-3 straight up.
Love the Nuggets at home.
But more importantly, they're 22-9 against the spread. But you know as well as I do, Steve, that eventually the market's going to catch up. More times than not. Your goal as a professional bettor is to get out ahead of the market.
Sure.
You're hoping to be one of those guys that are 22-9 or picked your spots and are 12-4, something along those lines, and you bet them at home. But you know eventually they're going to really have to charge a premium. And I think they've been doing that, and they've been exceeding expectations. But when I looked at this line, 8.5, I just thought it's way, way too high against the Knicks. And I think it's a reflection of the Knicks losing the way they did the other night. And it's a reflection of that ATS record that Denver has at home, coupled with the fact they've covered, the last time they haven't covered a game was February. You know, early February. That's the last time this team hasn't covered.
Sure, and I think that the Knicks, too, you could argue that was a really bad spot for them in Golden State. I was on Golden State in that game and went ahead and gave it out to my clients. And I think a lot of the situational spots is, you know, you're going to get the Knicks' best game here off a 30-point loss. We just saw that with San Antonio, where they got their butts kicked by Portland, and then they come back strong and they show up and basically beat down Oklahoma City. And I don't have a database. We're going to have to ask Professor Ed Meyer. If you did nothing but bet on a team that lost by 30 in their last game, I'm sure you're probably making money, right?
Yeah, well, just like in football there for a while there, that was one of those trends that really worked. If a team gets blown out by 30-plus points and against the spread or something like that, you want to back them the next week because the market does overreact. I mean, it's a natural reaction. And the fact that we have a primetime game, or marquee game more like it, that's going to attract a lot of
money. Going to be on ESPN, TV game.
It's going to attract a lot of money. You know that the line, as soon as I saw it, I said, this is just such an overreaction.
But no hurry. No hurry, right?
No.
To get this one, we wait our time. We get out our station app,
I agree.
Phone app, or William Hill app.
I agree. And I think this line, the only way it's going to go is up.
Sure.
I mean, unless the professionals get involved. And I don't see why there's any rush to get involved. Just let the market bet it up for you.
One thing that I like about this is that Denver, I hate playing against them when they're on a long homestand. They've been there forever. They're completely adjusted to the altitude. I know they had a recent road game where they played well, and I like that, but then they come back maybe not so good. One thing for my own bet, I think I'm going to take the Knicks in the first quarter or the first half because I think they're going to come out so strong off that horrible performance, and that altitude won't be as big of
early on. Yeah,
and
makes perfect sense.
You could get that wilt in the fourth quarter. I still think you have the right side. However, let's go ahead and make it official if we can.
Knicks at Denver, the hottest team in the NBA, at least at home, 22-9 against the spread, 28-3 straight up. But I'm going to buck them here. I'm going to go with the New York Knicks. Played one of their worst games against Golden State. That's all you're hearing, how this team wasn't even able to break 70 points. I think they're going to bounce back in this spot. I think the market's really overreacting to that final. And we know the premiums attached on the Denver Nuggets. Sure, they've been able to exceed expectation. greatly thus far, but I think it's going to catch up with them as the season goes on, at least at home. I think when the season's over, I really don't think they're going to be an 80% ATS team there.
Going out on a limb there.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, with the future Denver games, what would you put the over-under on there against the spread at home the rest of the year? Would it be above or below 50?
That's what I was just thinking to myself. I don't think. Right around that 52%. I don't think enough to make money off it.
You want to look at the individual games.
Yeah.
You want to pick your spots to go on or against them.
Exactly.
It's not just.
I don't think you could blindly bet them anymore at home. I really don't think so. But I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm going to fade them every spot, because this team plays so well there and they have fun there, and we know it's such a tough place to play. And like you brought up with the altitude, and how long has a team been there? How long have they been there? So there's a lot of factors you want to consider, but I just think that the price you're going to be asked to pay, you can't blindly just keep betting them like you were up to this point.
No doubt. Big situational handicap every time with the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
And so we broke down the Knicks. They're going to be playing on ESPN. They're going to be playing in Denver. Then they're going to wheel the next day into the Rose City here. They're going to be playing Portland. Yeah, stick with us. We're going to come back here at pregame.tv. I have a bet in this game on the Knicks at Portland. We'll be breaking that down. Pregame.tv.